So, welcome back to Taking Stock in a Post SSL Jamaica. It has been rough out there on the stock markets, and gaining and maintaining investor trust has been very difficult. And it's been a tough time for companies that have been seeking to list, to do their IPOs, to do APOs. Any type of fundraising has been particularly challenging when it comes to public offers uh, in the investment space. So tonight, we're going to be talking to a company that recently listed. They're looking at their 1 year anniversary post IPO, and also talking to the team that led them through the process. I don't know why it slipped me that DRT was recently acquired by one great studio, and I'm here saying that we're going to get an update on DRT's IPO. That's not what we're talking about. Actually, DRT helped Omni through their IPO, and so they're going to be giving us a perspective on perhaps how you can get your company to go through the process. What are the things that you may need to be looking out for, and hearing from Omni on how it's been since their IPO. So joining me now is Managing Director of Omni Industries, Patrick Kumst, and we also have Head of Division at DRT Communications, Daniel Terrelong. Welcome back, Patrick and Daniel.
Thank you.
And thanks for having us, Karina.
Yeah, great to have you. So Patrick, let's start with you because it's been a year since Omni listed on the junior market of the JSE. What has this past year been like for you?
We've had some exciting times. We have broken into an export market in Guyana that we had, promised our investors last year. We're currently commissioning a new injection molding machine that were purchased using the proceeds of the IPO. We have exciting times coming up with the Denby show in early August, where we're going to launch some of our new products going forward. And so it's been an interesting year, to say the least.
What's that injection molding machine? What does that do?
The injection molding machine is what we use to manufacture our products. So our crates and our buckets, that's the machine that makes it.
Okay, and so this is a new one. This is like an additional machine, or you had it before?
Correct. No, this is an additional machine. It's the largest one that we have currently, designed specifically to make bread crate and other large crate products. It's going to add efficiencies and add capacity to our factory. It's going to be exciting.
So by how much does this increase your capacity?
This one machine is estimated to add about 20% additional capacity.
Nice. Tell me about those operations in Guyana. But before you do that, let's just remind the viewers what Omni does, because you mentioned buckets and some of the things that you do. Let's just give the viewers an overview of what Omni Industries actually, what you do for a
All right, sure. Omni, well, we're located in Spanish Town, and we are the only manufacturer in Jamaica who makes plastic houseware products, industrial packaging, buckets, crates, beverage crates for the dairy and alcohol industry, juice industry. And we are also one of the largest distributors of PVC pipe and fittings. So we're, in the construction sector. We supply the construction sector with water pipes, sewer pipes, and ancillary items that go along with that.
All right, so now tell me about these Guyana operations. You recently expanded there. How's that been going?
Better than expected. It takes a while to break into any new market, and it takes a little while to break into customer confidence because, of course, it's a new supplier for them. 6 weeks ago, we shipped our first container. We have gotten a lot of positive feedback with the quality of our products. The market has accepted it, and we have received a second order and are currently going to be loading that container early next week.
I see that you also, well, first of all, how did you break into that Guyana market? Like, how did you make that connection?
Grit and determination. That's really what it is. We went down there, my business partner and myself, Von White, went down there on a exploratory mission, Guyana has a lot of similarities with Jamaica. Their market, as you know, is growing with their oil find. And I think it's one of the largest growing markets in the region currently. So it made sense for us to go. Their purchasing patterns is similar to ours. The products that they use is similar to what we currently offer in Jamaica. So it just seemed like a logical approach, and we took a gamble and it worked.
Mm-hmm. I see that you also have your first AGM coming up. Is it first AGM? I saw an email from DRT today.
That is
Omni
correct.
Industries was its first AGM on July 31, 2025, since becoming a publicly listed company. What can investors look forward to at that AGM on the 31st?
They can look forward to hearing more about what I'm just speaking to now in terms of the things that the company has achieved so far, and to run through our numbers. We posted quite strong numbers in Q1, revenue of 471 million with profits of 31 million. So they're just going to get a firmer understanding and a greater comfort level with where we are, what we're doing, and what we're achieving using the proceeds from the IPO.
Mm. Daniel, let me bring you in here. Welcome back again.
Thank you. It's always great to be here.
So you've been working with Omni for more than a year now. So you helped them on the PR side to their IPO. What's it been like working with Omni all of this time? And like, how do companies or how should companies prep for an IPO?
Sure. So I'll actually, the reason we wanted to be on with Omni is because the real goal of an effective communications agency is to make sure that your client's reputation is intact, it's whole, and most of all, it's understood. And I want to take you back to, I think, very first conversation with Patrick Kumst. It was actually an email that I got from him in 2023. And I remember getting the email, not knowing, I actually thought it was spam. And I did a Google search and I didn't find anything about this company. Thankfully, I didn't continue that it was spam, and I touched base with Mr. Kumst, and we, sent our proposal in. And a huge part of our proposal, I had to say to him, sir, no one knows who you are. And I am sitting here amazed to know that half of the products in my house, from my wash basin to the crate of Heineken that my friend brought over the week before, to the pipings in my bathroom, are made actually and distributed here in Jamaica. And the most important thing we need to do long before we go public, thankfully we had a good runway, was to allow people to know who you are, what you do, and almost excite people, if you will, about brand Omni, so that when we got to IPO, people had a level of brand affiliation, brand affinity. They were already had brand awareness, most of all. So we first worked with the Omni leadership team on establishing their brand, who they were in the market, and before we went into the IPO process. You asked what it's been like working with them. My team, who I know is watching, we consider Omni our brand avatar. Really honorable people to work with. And one of the things with leading up to your IPO and then post IPO is recognizing that you are entering a new environment, an environment where transparency, accuracy, timeliness are non-negotiable. You are now reporting at a very high level to multiple investors, abiding by stock exchange and FSC guidelines. And my team and I have spent the past couple of years, we've led or certainly participated in over 11 IPOs. And so having a PR agency and a communications agency to take you through that process, having the knowledge to work with the capital markets team, to work with the attorneys to ensure that we are crafting the right narrative from IPO and each quarter thereafter. And we're always trying to ensure that the investors have confidence from a very transparent perspective. And lastly, I'll say, not everyone understands the financial jargon. You know that better than anyone else, Khalida.
Mm-hmm.
Having us as a PR agency is not a bunch of financial technocrats that are writing. We have to take all of that language and place into their annual report, which was published recently, in a way that it's digestible and that people can understand, and therefore have that level of confidence in the company. So working with them has been great. We also took them through their 50th anniversary celebrations last year. Every event that they had, hosting their customers, long service awards. It's really been great. I actually joked with the chairman this morning that at this stage I may as well just have an office at Omni, because we're constantly in contact with each other.
Yeah, what are some of the things that a company needs to do to prepare for IPO from the PR side? Because you mentioned that you're right. Nobody knew who Omni was. I
Yeah.
had never heard of them before the IPO.
Right. That's exactly it, right? As I was talking about before, that transparency and building the brand. We are working on some other possibilities right now, and it is a very similar situation now, recognizing that some of the products that I can promise you, every woman on this call is likely consuming. We know that people don't know who the parent company is. So we always work with our clients to ensure that if there's a parent company and they're distributing products, that we know that we tie them together. The most important thing for us as a public relations and communications team is to ensure that we create narrative for our clients that tells a story, whether those are good numbers, whether they are bad numbers, whether they are you know, less than great numbers, but that we're accurate and that we're transparent, and also that we tell that brand narrative. A lot of what we do, I mean, people think of a PR company and like they think scandal or something. That is absolutely not effective communication, especially as we navigate the IPO and publicly listed space. This is about strategic communications that help companies prepare for that shift. Sometimes I have to speak with the CEOs that we work with, because we work with several publicly listed companies. I have to remind them that we are reporting to the general public, that we must be transparent, but also that the general public does not always expect you to be having, profit after profit after profit every quarter. We're not living in quarters. One thing I really admire about Omni is that there's a constant long-term vision. I see that also in the company that I now work with, that the medium to long-term vision is solid and that it is set. And so there's constantly a shaping and reestablishing of the stories, inclusive of the numbers. I tell people all the time, and I have many colleagues in the PR space, that all communications agencies are not created equally. And as I said, my team and I have taken the time to understand the stock exchange, understand even when we talk about a Caribbean stock exchange, what that will mean. We realize we have to get ahead of that just in case it ever does happen. Some of us are advocating for it. To recognize that we have to be on top of our clients too for on-time disclosure. We have to understand their financial statements. We have to understand that the public is expecting. We go back to the prospectus and say, hey, you promised this. Where are we at with that? We want to fully disclose in a way that people fully understand. And that is done with strategic communications. You see, a lot of companies focus on the numbers. And whilst the numbers are important, there are legal aspects to an IPO. There are regulatory aspects to an IPO. And there is the storytelling and narrative that must be built around your short to medium and long-term vision. And that includes your being on Kalila, that I saw that Jermaine is on from Learn, Grow, Invest. That includes being in the traditional media, in advertising and advertorial, because there are requirements from the stock exchange that many things must be advertised for the public.
Right.
in a very specific time. And so to understand all the rules that are governed by the FSC and the JSE, you have to have an agency that has that strength and has the talent within to be able to run your IPO and then support you after through your quarterlies, through your annuals, and then of course your AGM.
Now, speaking of that support, the quarterlies and the annuals, so the AGM is coming up, Patrick. We do talk numbers on this show. Going into the AGM, I can see that you, in the last annual report, you saw a 6% dip in revenues for 2024. You also had a dip in net profits from 150 million to 124 million. So what's going on? What accounted for that? Especially given that you now have this new machine, you now have exports to Guyana. Why are the numbers down?
Well, the overall economy in Jamaica has suffered quite a bit in the last year, I would say. Particularly the construction sector has seen a significant decline. The majority of Omni's sales, 58% to be exact, is reliant on the construction sector. So that's the reason why we're seeing some numbers dip. And what we're trying to do to mitigate that is to ensure other markets so that we can avoid those ebbs and flows of one particular market segment. So when we are in packaging or increasing our packaging line and product lines in that space, that is what is going to create long-term sustainability and growth for the company.
So what is the plan to turn things around?
As mentioned a while ago, is to add additional product lines, get into additional market spaces. We are currently seeking markets in the Caribbean, Barbados, and we're also looking at Nicaragua as a possible entrance.
Oh, I just want to go into Latin America as well. So, but even though the 2024 annual numbers, showed a decline, your Q1 numbers for 2025 are looking up. Tell us what's going on there.
Well, just in a brief nutshell, as I mentioned earlier, Q1, the revenues, we consider them strong at 471 million. And, our net profit of 31 million is, we're happy with that, considering the stagnant market that we are faced with.
So just to let the viewers know, so for Q1, revenues grew from 470 million to 606 million, and then net profit is up from 30 million to 77 million. That is a significant increase. Is it that the construction industry is now recovering? It's turning around?
In the last month, we are seeing significant improvements in that market segment. That is correct. There's a lot of road projects taking place, a lot of water projects taking place, and of course, contractors come to the only source, Omni.
Well, it's good to hear that things are finally improving in the construction sector. It's been a robust sector for the past probably about 7 years, and then things kind of,
yes,
7-8 years, and then things kind of dipped, and now we're seeing a return to, well, an improvement once again. Daniel, before we wrap, I want to hear how it's been for you. So a little update on the personal, well, DRT side, I should say, not personal. I'm not getting into your personal business, but you've been now a part of 1GS for how long? How many months has it been?
We are on 6 months.
6 months. What's it been like since
just 6 months? I have to tell you, Kalila, it's been fantastic, and I say that genuinely. Change management is a big thing, and I have not had one day of being like, oh my gosh, what have I done? I've actually had every day of saying, thank God this opportunity presented itself. We have integrated quite well. We are now literally, Javane Brownie, the group CEO, speaks a lot to becoming a house of brands. And that is genuinely our our momentum, where we are going. There's a lot of collaboration. We have a lot of cross-selling. We shared clients before, but now we have a big pool of clients that we can cross-sell our services to. It's a great place for innovation. And just like going into office, which I don't do very often, you see that collaboration, you see that care for team, you see that care for clients, getting it just right. And just being a part of a company that's innovative and thinking about the agency of today and also what's the agency of tomorrow, being in conversations like that. I have to say that, having grown this company from my bedroom 17 years ago to see where it is today and being a part of a bigger team, and the strength in leadership that we have up on Great Studio has been nothing but positive. We continue to do the same level of work even more efficiently for our clients like Omni. We feel that we're very supported. If somebody needs a landing page, we have a web design team. If somebody needs a video, we have a video entire production that literally we can mobilize right away. We can turn our offices into studio if that's required, and that's really powerful when you are bolstered by that level of talent around you at all times. We also are doing really well on our shared services. So a lot of efficiencies happening in terms of cost efficiencies. When you blend two companies together, of course, they had done an acquisition prior as well. So really turning that into a house of brands with a strong back office is a work in progress, but really, really a fantastic experience so far.
I have a couple of questions from the audience before we go. So Danielle wants to know, this is for you, Patrick, what are the products that were shipped to Guyana? And then Learn, Grow, Invest, similar question, what's the expectation for growth coming from Guyana?
All right, well, to answer the first question, the products that were shipped were construction buckets, because of course their construction market is booming like there's no tomorrow. We also shipped garden hoses, one of our main staples of our products, which in fact was one of the first that Omni produced. And we're also shipping plastic houseware products like laundry tubs and baby baths and those products. To answer the second question, I think the sky's the limit when it comes to Guyana. I see a lot of potential remaining to explore. We are speaking with bakeries currently. One of our new products that we're launching in a month is a bread tray. And we are also speaking with the brewery in Guyana. And, but when those products come in, the sales will be significant. We are trying to have total export sales for Omni, doesn't matter the region, but total export sales of 15 to 20% of our total sales. Guyana is just one of those markets to help us achieve that.
How much does exports represent now for you?
It varies from year to year. We have had years where it has increased to 20 to 25%. Currently, we're looking at 10% with growth to 15% by the end of the year.
Okay. Finally, I'm going to take these two. One's from Daniel Ferguson, who says, ground has been broken for several infrastructure projects in the corporate area. How is Omni positioning itself to benefit from these? And then Lanesra is getting a bit more specific, wants to know if Omni will play any part in the $1 billion Harmony Cove Hotel project.
Well, I can answer both of those questions simply. Everything that is, Omni is the foundation of all construction, meaning that our products are the first to go into the ground because it's all infrastructure related. It's very likely that the housing development that you live in or the roads that you drive on, an Omni product is underneath that somewhere. With respect to Harmony Cove, we are already in conversation with the contractors and the developers, and we do expect to get business.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Kalila. And I
And we'll
hope to
see
see
more
you at our AGM, July 31st.
July 31st. Right. So notice should be going out to shareholders very soon if it hasn't already gone out. I saw the press release go out.